Hello, hope you're having a great day. Now, this morning, I've kind of messed up my day a bit because I did wake up at 7:30, but then I ended up going back to bed, and then I got up again about 8:30, I think, and then I still ended up going back to bed, and then ended up finally getting up properly at 9 a.m. So, the mornings are becoming a real battle again. And it's funny because if I think back and be honest with myself, when I got up at 7:30, I could have stayed up. You know, it is literally all in my mind. You know, I am a bit tired. You know, I do work hard every day. So, you know, my body is trying to nick a bit of rest. But, you know, I'm not like absolutely dying. So, you know, it is all in my head. And the last few days I've been losing the battle with my head to get up. Now, to make it worse, I've actually just realised that I can't do my boxing class tomorrow on Saturday because I've already planned to go and film someone's cars. So I need to go boxing this evening. So that means I'm going to have even less time around the garage today because I'm going to have to get back around this area for 7 o'clock. I've obviously got less time to do what I need to before I leave to go to the garage because I've gotten up late. So, I've kind of messed myself up a bit, but it is what it is. I can't focus on the past, that's already happened. I need to focus on the now. And right now, after going for my walk around the block, as I usually do, and before that, I obviously had my meditation session and I wrote in my journal before that. Before that, obviously, once I actually did get out of bed, I had my loads and loads of water and my salty water and my vitamin C. So, you know, as usual, when I turn the camera on these videos, it's now time for me to crack on with my exercises. I need to bang them out quick and then just jump in the cold shower and then decide whether I'm going to have breakfast or not, because I don't actually feel that hungry at the moment. But yeah, I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to do 2 sets of push-ups, 2 sets of sit-ups, and 2 sets of deadlift, because I haven't done that this week yet. So let's go. And this morning I've been listening to what I think is the latest podcast from Andrew and Tristan Tate, although I think it came out about a week ago. And so far, in what I've listened to so far, they've been talking about the case of Russell Brand, who recently got accused of sexually assaulting people years ago. Now, look, I don't know whether Russell Brand is guilty or not, but I saw this coming. I don't see myself as a super intelligent bloke, but a lot of what you see that happens, you can see it coming. Now, Russell Brand is someone that openly questions things like the way COVID was taken care of. He questions the vaccines. He questions, you know, the figures all to do with stuff like that. You know, he questions things that, the mainstream media are trying to push on us all. And when you're that kind of person, it's inevitable that potentially they're going to come after you. It doesn't matter whether you've done or haven't done something in the past. They just dig up whatever they need to get you if you become too big and too loud talking about stuff they don't want you to talk about, which is basically exactly what happened to Andrew and Tristan Tate when they ended up getting put in prison. Again, I don't know whether Russell Brand's guilty or not. I don't know him personally, but I saw it coming. Anyway, I'm going to carry on listening to this and crack on with my workout. Alright, so I managed to get done what I needed to get done before I could leave the house today. Mainly that was editing and uploading yesterday's video on this channel, and now I'm on the way to the garage. It's already 1:45 in the afternoon, so when I get to the garage I'm probably only going to have 3.5 hours, whereas I was planning to spend the whole day around there. But to be fair, the parts that I was hoping would come through the post today, which I would need to crack on with some of the other bits I was planning to do today, haven't arrived. So it's not as bad as it otherwise could have been. You know, I've pretty much got enough time to do what I'm going to be able to do today. But it still would have been more ideal for me to get up early this morning. I would have been able to get more stuff done before I left for the garage, you know, which I haven't been able to do this morning. And look, even though I wouldn't have had the parts to do the bits that I was planning to do around the garage today, you know, if I was around there all day, I would have found something to do. You know, there's always something to do. So, I'm still
quite disappointed that I seem to be struggling to get up. You know, it's become a real issue again. Just as I was sort of getting on top of my motivation and stuff, my sort of early morning issues have raised their ugly heads. It's almost as if there's always something I'm struggling with, you know. Life is never perfect, is it? But, you know, it keeps things interesting. It is what it is. I'm certainly not going to dwell on the fact that I've wasted a morning and let that affect how much I'm able to get done today, you know. I need to remain as much as I can in the present moment, focus on everything that I am doing rather than focusing on everything that I potentially aren't doing because I flopped this morning. Now, one thing I was thinking about yesterday, and I might have mentioned it before, and it's one of them things that I need to keep reminding myself of, and it might sound a bit extreme, but, you know, bear with me. Every single person you come across in life should be an inspiration. Now, that might sound crazy because some people you come across, you might not like them, you might not find them inspirational, but this is the thing. If someone's inspirational and you like what they're about and you'd like to get where they are in whatever field it may be, you know, maybe they look really healthy and fit, so you know that inspires you to make yourself more healthy and fit, or maybe they dress really well and, you know, it inspires you to try out different, you know, styles of clothing. Maybe they've got a really good job and they're earning loads of money and that inspires you to get on in life, you know. That's great, right? You can look at people who are further along in whatever area of life that you're looking to get further along in, and they can inspire you. You know, they can be a literal visualization of where you could be if you put the effort in. Okay, fair enough. But what about when you come across someone that you don't particularly like, or someone that you don't particularly look up to, someone that you wouldn't like to be? Well, that's an opportunity for you to be grateful that you're not living their life, that you're not that person, that you're not, you know, under their values. You know, one example, and I'm sorry to keep banging on about it, but it's very current in my life, is the neighbour upstairs. You know, rather than allowing my mind to battle with the, you know, how much they've mugged us off in the past, and allow my mind to tell me that I need to get revenge on them or make them feel bad or make them realise how much of a loser they are, I could instead step back and think, wow, that's an example of how not to be, isn't it? You know, I can use that as an inspiration and, you know, a literal visualization I can see in front of my eyes, you know, when I'm looking at my camera or when they're confronting me and getting in my face when they're being mouthy. That's a literal visualization of how I really do not want to end up being like, right? And it's ironic because whilst I'm, you know, having these battles in my mind about them, and, you know, all these crazy things are coming up in my mind about revenge, etc., and, you know, I'm always able to, you know, not go down those dark roads of these crazy thoughts that I have. You know, it's ironic that if I was to, you know, indulge in those things that my mind is maybe, you know, throwing up, those sort of fantasies, then I'd end up just as bad as the neighbour, wouldn't I? You know, like a lot of people have said that I should, you know, bang on the ceiling in the morning and stuff, you know, because if they're up late keeping us awake, then maybe we should get up early and keep them awake. But then you're literally becoming them. So, you know, you don't like how they're operating, and the answer is to become exactly the same as them. It's mad how, like, you know, our minds can literally end up making us turn into the kind of people that we're in conflict with. So that's another good reason why, you know, you should look at these people that, you know, you don't resonate with, that you don't find inspirational, as an inspiration of how not to be, you know, and to be grateful that you're not like that, you know. I mean, I have my own mental health issues, but I'm certainly grateful that I'm not in a position where I'm allowing those mental health issues to make me go out of my way to upset my neighbours, you know. I mean, this person upstairs, okay, they're transgender. I think everyone should live however they want to, you know. If you were born male and you want to live as a female, that's absolutely fine. But, you know, it doesn't mean that you've got the right to talk in such a loud fake voice that it keeps your neighbours awake. Okay, you're transgender. Okay, you're entitled to alter your voice so that you sound more feminine. Although in reality, my neighbour doesn't sound any more feminine because they just sound like a pantomime dame. But yeah, you know, you've got the right to change your voice if you want to sound more feminine. You know, fair play to you. But it doesn't mean that just because you're transgender, your neighbour doesn't have the right to ask you to keep that fake voice down low enough so that they can sleep, you know. And obviously the world we live in nowadays, where it just seems like, you know, the system wants to defend people like transgender people, you know, because of the oppression they've had in the past, granted, but now it's got to the point now where it's like, you know, you need to defend them at all costs, you know. So that's why my neighbour potentially feels entitled to do whatever they want, regardless of, you know, us trying to get asleep, because they happen to be transgender, and transgender people need to be defended at all costs. So, you know, when you think of that whole sort of psyche of what my neighbour's going through, like, you know, in my opinion, it's not on my sort of radar to think I'm a woman. So, but even with that aside, you know, like the fact that they feel like entitled to keep us awake, the fact that they feel entitled to call the police whenever we dare to ask them to keep the noise down, the fact that they think it's now appropriate to have a bodyguard chaperoning them to the shops. You know, they've built up this sort of facade in their own mind that they're this utter victim, you know, that needs to be, you know, chaperoned to the shops because something bad's going to happen to them, when in reality nothing bad is going to happen to them. If I was going to do anything, I would have done it when they squared up in my face and got aggressive. You know, I wouldn't have just stepped back and took them for what they were, which was, you know, a drunk idiot. I would have reacted then. Like, I would have put them on their backside. Like, they are a very weak, small individual. So, you know, I am sort of grateful and thankful that I'm not in a position to live my life like my neighbour. And, you know, it's an inspiration to, you know, not go down the path of becoming an idiot like that, because these things do happen very gradually. You know, it's not like one minute you're, you know, living a righteous life and, you know, bettering yourself, and then the next minute you wake up and you're an absolute moron. Like, these things probably happen very, very slowly, in the same way that with drugs, you know, you start off and it's just, you know, socially having a bit and having a laugh and being joking, and then slowly but surely you then end up turning into a loser, which is exactly what happened to me. So yeah, you know, whenever you go through life, whoever you come across, use them as inspiration, whether it be good or whether it be bad. And look, you know, life isn't binary like that. It's not like you meet someone and they're either, yes, I really want to be exactly like them, or no, I definitely want to do everything I can to not be anything like them. You know, it's not like that. There'll be certain traits of some people that you like, and certain traits of some people that you dislike. You know, you might come across someone who's got awesome style, you know, really stylish guy, like they wear nice clothes, they've got a nice body, like, you know, everything, that they walk well, you know what I mean? But they're an absolute moron, like, and the stuff they say and, you know, seemingly the way they think is garbage, right? So then you can sort of say, well, oh, you know, I'd love to dress like that guy. That guy's got real style, but I definitely wouldn't want to turn into him and start saying and thinking the things that he's saying and thinking. You know, so you take attributes from people that you like, and you be aware of and avoid attributes of people that you don't like. You know, it's not sort of binary, you know. But regardless, there'll always be something in everyone that you could find inspirational, and something in everyone that you find inspirational in terms of the way that you don't want to be. So, and you know, if you go through life like that, just, you know, not like letting it dominate your life, obviously take people for how they are, like, but in a sort of subtle way, you know, assess people's character, how they hold themselves, you know, what kind of person they are, and use that as a guide to form yourself into the kind of person that you want to be. And then it will take your mind away from conflicting with people that are potentially just, you know, trying to go through life and argue with people, you know, and you know, make other people's lives miseries rather than making their own better. All right, so I've been around the garage for a good few hours now, but I've got to leave in a minute to get to boxing. I got the main thing that I was planning to get done. So yeah, it's been a successful afternoon. And once I've packed up, I'll be driving my favourite car to boxing. Well, I've had a bit of a nightmare with my favourite car, that's why I'm back in this one. Just as I left the garage, it started misfiring. And although I didn't really have time to investigate, I did just bring the car back and investigate, tried to change the spark plugs, tried to change the coil pack, and it's still the same. So now I'm probably not going to make it to boxing. Alright, so I'm back home after boxing, and I've already had a shower, and my beautiful girlfriend is knocking me up some chicken and eggs, and I'll obviously have to knock up a salad to go with it. But yeah, I managed to get to boxing only slightly late, and as usual, boxing was awesome. I actually ended up doing quite a few rounds of head sparring today and got absolutely humbled. I've got a lot to learn when it comes to sparring. I think I mentioned before that I've got this habit of blocking with my lead hand, which I think, you know, comes from my childhood when I used to do Taekwondo. I also wasn't keeping my chin down today, and one of the rounds in particular, the guy literally caught me with about 2 or 3 4-shot combos. So yeah, got absolutely humbled, but I've got loads to learn and I'm proper game to learn more. My head guard hasn't arrived yet, but yeah, you can do head sparring without a head guard if you want, as long as you've got a mouth guard, which I have. Now tomorrow I've got a very busy day planned, so I simply must get up at 7:30. I've got no choice. Obviously I was planning to take my favourite car out with me tomorrow, but that's obviously not going to happen now. And because I've got such a busy day tomorrow starting early, I'm going to have to edit this video before I go to bed tonight. So I'm going to end it here. Massive thanks as always to everyone who's got this far. I hope this video has been somewhat helpful or motivational. Feel free to say hello in the comments and we'll have a chat, or get in touch with me via Facebook, Instagram or email. But other than that, I'll speak to you tomorrow.